He's one of the dopest engineers in the game. The head engineer exclusively for Prodigy of Mobb Deep. 10 Prodigy of Mobb Deep albums. The Hegelian Dialectic. The Book of Revelation.
It's a pleasure, man. That body of work is crazy. I mean,
Joe the engineer. Now we do this shit, nigga.
333. That's a sign from the heaven. Just look up in the heavens. Look up in the heavens. Where the fuck your weed at? One of the dopest engineers in the game.
Yo, what the fuck is up, everybody? What up? It is Thursday. I think we usually do this at 8, but I was doing something. So we're here at 9. It's time for Beat Boutique. You know what that means. Time to listen to some motherfucking beats. 4-piece, what up, homie? Sam, what up? Auden, what up? Everybody else who might watch this, what the fuck is up? Billy Lines, I've been waiting for this, dude. So, Payback, what up, yo? So, yeah. The email is tagged at the top of the chat. I believe it is. Anyway, send whatever you've been working on to 333beatboutique@gmail.com. And we'll see if we can make your music better together. Now, you know how we start this show. I'm going to show you a couple things me and Billy Lon's been working on as we roll the fuck up and get into this. So, couple things we're working on right now. Word. I think I'm done with that one, Billy Lines. There's one thing that I wanted to add to it, and I keep trying and just not figuring it out, so I'm gonna say fuck it and put a bow on that one. Alright. This is something else that's in the works. Word. A lot of work to do with that one. A lot of work to do, but it is coming along in the manner in which 333 music does come along. And this is the other one that I've got in my wheelhouse right now. Sane, what up? you get the idea. Tons and tons of work. That's just loops and trying to make them sound good right now. And drums and some other things. But it's getting there. It'll get there. I have faith. I have faith in what we do, Billy Lines. Alright, so enough about what I've been working on. Well, let me see what you guys have been working on. Where's Midget Mike at, yo? Midget Mike, where you at? Huh? Rigo, what up? Alright, Billy Lines. Let's check this, what you've been working on. Alright, Billy Lon, so the thing that you added in the verses, put that on the second half of the verses, so this bars 9 through 16. Don't put it in, allow it to be the differentiator between the first 8 bars and the second 8 bars on the verses. Because other than that, there isn't any. And then that little stab, yeah, that comes in like once in a blue moon, more of that. Other than that, yeah, dope. You're fucking dope. What are you talking about? You want a cookie? I bet Stax does. But yeah, allow there to be something that differentiates the first half from the second half, because it is just a loop. I mean, I know the artist is going to be on it, but just production wise. And then that little stab, yeah, you do that more. Other than that, super fire. Yeah, I actually do. Let's see if I could send some Stax snacks your way. Greg, let's go. What have you been working on? It's funny. Yeah, word. It's funny whenever, you know, you label a beat. You have to label it something. It just can't be numbers. You have to name it something.
I know you don't smoke weed. I know this. But I'm gonna get you high today. Cause it's Friday, you ain't got no job, and you ain't got shit to do.
I'm so confused. I'm so confused. Let me explain my confusion. Alright, so the little skit comes in at the beginning. Everybody knows that movie. Alright. Kind of sets the tone of what you're getting into. And then, like, the main chords synth comes in. And I think to myself, I'm going to tell him to pitch that skit from Friday down. Because the tone of the voice is not matching, and the pace a little bit is not matching these chords. And then all the other sounds came in, and then they did kind of match that. So I don't, I think what you should do is either change the sound on the chords, or take those out, make a whole nother beat with just those chords, and then do something else on the underlining of that, and then see what happens. Because there's just two different things going at each other. And it's really, really hard to make that actually work. Yeah, so try that. Take the main synth sound, take those out, and then go make something else with that, and then refill in that gap with something else and see what happens. So this happened to me once. I was working on the beat, and the way that I make beats is I don't really have an idea in my head. I kind of just, whenever I hear a sound that I like, I'm going to find somewhere to use it. So then it just becomes stacking sounds on top of each other. And, you know, they all kind of have to have the same feel and everything. So I remember working on this one beat, and I'm like 80% of the way through it, and all of a sudden I get to this sound, and I play this little like melody, and it did not fit that other beat at all, but it was fire. So I was like, well, I've never done this before, and I stopped working on the first beat, made a whole new beat around that new melody and patch, shut that down so that I wouldn't forget that, you know, now it's in the computer, I got it, and went back and finished the first beat. So you got two beats going on at once there. Alright, Midget Mike, if you watch this, or if you are watching this, I'm playing the one that you sent me last week that I didn't play. Yo, I'm not even mad at that, Midget Mike. Not even mad at that. Just bring the Biggie samples up. Now, while we wait for Billy Lyons to send me what he's been working on this past week, here's where we can learn a lesson about how the music industry works. Alright, so, I know rap is based, its roots come from sampling. And I know that if you make beats, then inherently you're going to want to sample shit. And that's one of the reasons why like people like Beat Butcher and whatnot make their own samples, because the sample clearance issues it's a whole new beast, the way that the industry works now. Not even the way it used to work. It used to be absolutely retarded. Joe Black, what up? But now the game becomes ownership. So like, who really owns the rights to whatever it is you're trying to sample? Justin Timberlake just sold all his ownership rights and publishing and all his shit for $100 million. Irv Gotti sold all his stake in Murder Music for $300 million. These are just the most recent examples. I think Joni Mitchell just sold her entire catalog. Like, this is the thing to do now. So, before you had to worry about the label or the artist, who owned what or what percentages, and you had to deal with both of them. Maybe only one, but usually both. Now, so say you want to sample fucking Justin Timberlake, right? Now it's not even a matter of his ownership. It's who owns it now. Is it an investment firm? Is it a hedge fund? Because these are the people who are buying. It's $100 million, $300 million. These are like big time deals. Is it a label that bought ownership of it? You know, so it's just like, when you sample things, be wary that if you ever have to clear it in the future, it is going to be the biggest fucking headache ever. So, you know, Alchemist and Derringer and have a way of hiding and manipulating samples, and also the selection process is, they're going to find and use things that you're never going to find out. It took like 30 years for people to figure out where the sample for Shook Ones came from. So just be very mindful and wary of that, because it is a motherfucking headache. And then also, you know, as a producer, when you reach certain levels, and say you make a beat or, you know, an entire folder of beats, right? You're going to send that to all of the rappers that you are already have worked with and are affiliated with, or who that you know want to work with you or are working on a project at the time. And, you know, sometimes it gets a little bit messy, because like a couple of different people might want to use the same beat, and they don't know that somebody else has it and is doing the same thing. And if that person either buys it first or puts out the song first or something, I don't know, however they figure it out, then the other artist is now stuck. Like, fuck, what am I going to do with this song? And then, you know, sometimes you might, I don't want to say fracture a relationship with an artist, but it definitely won't help it if you do that. And then, you know, I've also run into scenarios where producers have just sold it to different people. The same beat to different people, and just kind of hope that, you know, no one ever found out. But people will find out, like, and I'm not talking about leasing to a company. I'm talking about like straight up, like, sell it the beat, like, yeah, it's your beat, and then sell it to somebody else. And like, you could do that easily because the internet exists, and you could sell it to a rapper in Croatia and then to one in Canada. And how are they ever going to know, or how are they ever going to cross paths? There's so much music that's being created and distributed every single day. The odds of them ever crossing each other's paths, unless one of them does a song that goes viral or blows up and is successful, and then it's a case of big fish eat little fish. Unless, you know, the other person put out a song first and whatnot, and then it gets dicey because then you actually have to like sue the producer and whatnot. And it's just like, did the song even generate enough money yet to even sue? That's another thing you have to understand, that lawsuits in the music industry take a while because there's absolutely no point in suing someone if it's not worth anything yet. It's just going to cost you money. You could cease and desist them and just have it shut down and removed. But if you're trying to, like, you know, if like Drake steals a song from you or something, you probably want to let that rock for a while. Let it build up capital and whatnot. And then when you sue him, it's actually worth something. You can sue him for the money that it made because it's rightfully yours because he stole your song. So if it hasn't made any money off of it now, you're just shutting them down. So that's why sometimes it'll be like 2-3 years or whatever before you see a lawsuit come up, and they're just like, well, why didn't they sue when they put the song out? And it's just like, well, it wasn't worth anything yet. You know, sometimes they just want to shut it down. Other people who are like, yo, I want to get some money out of this, you're going to have to wait a while. So an interesting case like that just came up. Beyonce's album isn't even out yet. It's 2 more days before it comes out, and it already leaked. The legal issue is not in the leaking. I'll touch on that in a second. The legal issue comes in, there's a song on there that says featuring Kellis, and I guess they sampled Kellis because it's like a dance album apparently, so it's more like EDM and whatnot. But nobody legally ever cleared that with Kellis, nor did they ever ask her permission. And like, she knows this before the album even came out. So they're probably just going to have it removed, or if they leave it on there, then Beyonce's people is going to have to pay for that. Which they will. They're ultra rich. Like, whatever. But yeah, apparently they didn't even ask her permission to use it. Now, legally, she might not own the rights to that song, but it is her performance and her, and it's a likeness. So they would have to clear it through her, no matter who owns it. She still has to clear it. Now, if they want to use the words and whatnot, it depends on who wrote it and then who owns it and whatnot. But the performance and whatnot, and her voice and the likeness, that's her. So, not clearing it, not even asking if it's okay, when you're, you know, Beyonce, you're pretty much the biggest artist on the planet. It's like you and Rihanna. I don't even think she sings anymore. I mean, you're like, it's fucking Beyonce. Like, so, yeah, for them to not clear that, that's intentional. They have entire legal teams and armies of people who just work on shit like that. So, something's up with that. I don't know. I don't work for either of them. One of my friends used to. Shout out to LB. Side story about, I'm just wasting time until Billy Line sends me what I want to hear. Side story about working for Beyonce. So this is when Music World was still based in New York. It was like in the 30s on Broadway, in like 36 or something. I don't fucking know. Anyway, so they had just moved in, or Matthew had just moved into a new office on their floor of that building, and he wanted surround sound put in his office. And I used to do installs and tech work, like building systems. So LB asked me if I'd come help him. I was just like, yeah, fuck it, I got you. And right before we went into the front door, not of the building, of their offices, he stops and he looks at me. He's like, "You're not allowed to make eye contact with anybody, and don't speak unless spoken to." I was just like, wait a minute, what? He's like, "Yeah, don't look at nobody and don't say nothing." I was just like, what kind of shit is this? I was like, I thought you LB did 2 Beyonce albums, the whole thing. So the fact that even he, after doing 2 full albums with her as her engineer, wasn't even allowed to like make eye contact or speak to the power people unless spoken to. It was pretty fucking weird. But, that's power for you. Anyway, Modern. See what else you got. All right. Let's see. How do I want to do this? Fuck it. So it's too long. It's too long. 4 minutes and 12 seconds is outrageously too long, especially for a beat that doesn't change a lot. It's so modern. The project that Billy Lance and myself are about to release is 17 beats, and I mean most of them were 4 minutes and some change, and I spent an outrageous amount of time trying to figure out how to cut them down to between 2 and 3 minutes, because that's all you're getting from people, especially if it's loopy. And when I mean loopy is there's not a lot of alterations and changes in things. It kind of just does the same thing over and over again, which is fine. And another way to break up the loopiness of it is you gotta do drum drops. Your drums are just I mean that's the thing it took me the longest to figure out and learn how to do, is how to effectively write in like the right types of drops and where and whatnot. But yeah, gotta spice up the drums a little bit. Now, beat's cool, and it sounds really good. Like, it's super polished sonically, like extremely polished. So pat yourself on the back for that one. But the biggest thing that I would tell you is figure out how to cut that in half. I mean, the only way that a song's going to be 4 minutes long now is if it's like 5 rappers on it. Because they're not even giving you 16s if there's that many people on it. Because they even the producer, even Khaled would know, like, all right, man, we can have 6 people on it, but half of y'all got to do like 4 bars. Or if you're doing 16 bars, you guys each do 8 and there's your verse. Because that's just the way music is. So a lot of times when I'm doing Mobb Deep Monday, and if it's like one of the older P songs, and it's like 5-6 minutes long, that shit feels like a marathon. It's just like, yo, how many verses are on this fucking song? And our brains have been completely rewired it's quicker processing, it's instant gratification, it's now. So yeah, you gotta cut that one down in half, dude. You're on your way though. That was sonically, you know, whatever you did, I imagine that you just spent a lot of time on that one. So there's the other thing. Don't play shit for people. I mean, unless it's a show like this or your friends where you want to know what they think. Don't play shit for people unless it's done. Nobody wants to hear that excuse of, oh yeah, it ain't done yet. Then don't fucking play it if it's not done yet. And well, I mean, that was basically it. Just and then I guess the other side of that would be to just finish it. Just finish it. So I like to think that I've taken a different approach production-wise in 333 Music with me and Billy Lines, because, you know, previously I might make 10. There was a time when me and my homie were making, you know, 30 beats in a weekend. And it'd at least be 30 ideas, and it wouldn't be one single complete beat. Right? It's just like 30 ideas. Some of them would be like almost done, but none of them would ever be edited, mixed. Like none of the behind the scenes work on it, which is, you know, me essentially. And you just end up with 500 beats and none of them ever get finished. So instead of just constantly spilling out ideas over and over and over and over and over again, and then maybe doing like rough mixes and whatnot, and thinking to yourself, well, if I do something with this beat, then then I'll mix it, or then I'll finish it, or if somebody wants it, somebody wants to buy it, then I'll really do it. And it's just like, just fucking do it. So this last year of making beats with Billy Lyons, usually I'm just focused on one at a time, and I don't stop on that one until it's done. I don't care if it takes a couple days, a week, whatever. I literally will just only work on one until it's done, and then it's time to move on to the next one. Now I know I played 2 that I'm currently working on, but I haven't sat down to be like, all right, it's time to finish this one, which doesn't even mean the last 5%. It could be the last 75%, but at some point I will sit down and be like, it is time to do this. I'm treating it like a painting almost. I found that now I might not be more productive as far as the volume of beats. I'm not making 300 beats in a year, but the quality and the fact that they're done. Like there's nothing else that I need to do to shit, but they're done. Way better. So as we await Billy Lyons, let me play a beat. Let me play something. What the fuck do I want to play? See, now that this beat album is like done, I don't ever want to listen to any of these again. It's like already moving forward on to the next things, and we haven't even put this out yet. Hilarious. Fuck it. What should I play? Take your time, Billy Lines. We are all eagerly anticipating. So, the quality that I try to make sure that we reach has been achieved because there's two of us, and we both do different things. So, Billy Lines is the brainchild. How do I want to say this? I don't know. It's kind of weird because like he'll work on something and then send it to me, and then I'll either tell him to keep going or no, or if it gets to a point. Now I don't ever know what that point's going to be. He might have worked on something for a month and have 857 layers on it, or he might have just an idea of a sample that he flipped and then like something else over top of it. I don't know when it's going to be. Whenever I'm going to tell him, yeah, send me that, and then whenever I get it, it's time for me to do the things that I do, which is, I guess I would be the finisher, because I'm going to make sure it sounds dope. That's my main objective. And then I'm going to make sure that it's structured in the most fluent and musically correct way possible, meaning that how it flows and where the drops are and what to drop and how to differentiate each section of each verse from each other and each verse from themselves and things of that nature, so that my goal on any beat is to make it good enough and diverse enough throughout its production that you can listen to it without anyone rapping on it, but still rappable. Now, you could overproduce the shit out of something and then be like, all right, there's no room for anybody on this. And P, we ran into that a bunch, where there would be a beat that was fire, but he'd be like, there's no room for me, there's too much shit going on, where am I going to rap at? And so there's a difference between making it so that it's like production that you're just going to listen to, like beats you're just going to listen to, versus trying to get somebody to like use it and buy it, which is like the whole goal, unless you just want to DJ your own sets, which is fun. So for instance, all right, so this one I'm about to play while we wait for Billy Lines. It was just an idea that he had, but when I heard it, I heard something completely different. I wish I had the original that he sent so I could show you from where it started to where it ended up, but I don't even know where the original of this is at, because I usually just get rid of it so that there's no confusion. But it was some chords and a couple sounds, and he was idea fishing, like, because we were trying to do something very, very specific, and we're basically just throwing shit against the wall. And he sent something to me, and I was just like, yo, send that to me. Now, I don't know at that moment that if he thought that we were about to achieve the first objective that we were working on at that moment, because I don't really explain a whole lot of shit. There's I exist through unwritten communication. So then I just went to work. And like work. I worked for easily 72 hours straight on this one, because when I heard it, I instantly heard something else in my head and was just like, yep, I'm going to do that with this. So and then I turned it into this. Now, the reason I'm about to play this is because I'm talking about overproduction. I don't think anybody. I'm sure somebody can rap on it, but should they? This one wasn't really made with an artist being on it. That wasn't its intention. But yeah, let me shut the fuck up. Crew, what up, homie? Thanks. Yeah, that one became an obsession of mine from the second I heard the pianos and the chords behind it. Three Eyes, what up? Which P album? So, yeah, Billy Lines, I am the absolute worst ever. But my entire objective whenever I'm working with somebody, my single goal is to get the absolute and total maximum out of that artist that I can possibly get. Of course I have it. Actually, I don't have it. So I'm going to find ways to push buttons and push and push and push to see what's really in there and what can we actually get out. Can we reach the ceiling? Now, in doing so, I'm also pushing myself. Can I reach the ceiling on every one? Can I take it to its absolute maximum capabilities? And then there's nothing left. You can't really complain after that. But I'm constantly testing, and it's just it's funny thinking of the parallels between working with Cash and J.O. and P, even, and Billy Lines now, of just constantly Yeah, please do, so I can do something besides sit here and talk until we're done with this episode. Yeah, even with P, once I got comfortable with him and I knew that I had like an input and an opinion and things of that nature, it was like, all right, let's see if we can push the gas pedal a little bit. And then when it was time to make the Book of Revelation, there was no gas pedal anymore. We have evolved past that. It was just, let's push this to the absolute maximum limit of capabilities. So, yeah. Billy Lines will tell you I'm the absolute worst. You're just lucky you don't rap, Billy Lines, because all you would ever hear is "do it again." That ain't it. No, that ain't it. That is information that I am not legally going to speak, nor morally, ethically, or just, that's not my information to release. So therefore, I would not be capable of answering that one for you at this time, homie. No, none at all. None taken. I wish I could answer that question, but I cannot. It is not my question to answer, so therefore I will not. Payback. Well, one thing I could say about that is every day that goes by, you're one step closer to it being out, one step farther away from it not. Let's see what we've been working on, man. I see you on Instagram. Constantly working.
Solo mi amor te solo mi amor te pertenece. Solo mi amor te solo mi amor te solo mi amor te pertenece.
I will give you props on dynamics because they are loud in a good way. I do not make things loud at all. I have such a subtle touch on things. It's up to you to turn shit up, which Pete always complained about, bouncing through beats and having to turn somebody's up. It's just like, oh, what the fuck. So there was a part in there that made me feel like I was playing Zelda. and I have a internal affection for beats that remind me of video games from the 80s, because I am a child of the 80s. What else you got, homie? Alright, that shit's fucking dope, man. Like, so many. Figuring out a way to layer those things on top of each other when they definitely did not start out that way. It was fucking fire. Now, my only complaint is I was a little bit disappointed because I saw 4 minutes and 5 seconds, and about halfway through that, I was just like, is he going to sample every fucking song on the album? This is about to be dope as shit. Yo, I thought you was going to sample every single song on the album as one long Hegelian MPC live set. I was fucking hyped. And then it went back and looped back, and I was just like, oh, now it's too long. But, dude, layering those on top of each other, very well done. I would never even have attempted it, to be honest with you. So, Yeah, that was then using so many different songs. That's what I'm saying, man. I thought you was just gonna run through the whole fucking album. I was like, can you figure out a way to get every single fucking a sample from every? That would be nuts. Man, if you actually attempt to do that, it's not my fault. I didn't tell you to do that. I just thought you were going to do that because I don't want to know how fucking long that's going to take. To be honest with you, that one might take a couple months, dude. That one might take a half of a year to pull off, but it'd be fucking incredible. I'm telling you, dude, I was hyped. I was so hyped for a second. I was like, oh shit, he's about to go through the whole fucking album. This is it's about to get real interesting. So, I don't know if you guys ever heard the Blue Eyes meets Bed-Stuy album. It's Biggie over top of beats made with Frank Sinatra samples. Absolute piece of artwork. It's so incredibly amazing. And I happened to be working at Quad Studios, and we had an intern there named Sean Hayes, because he always had Hayes on deck at all times. And I actually was talking about that album because I had found it on the internet, and it's literally a piece of artwork. It taught me the lesson on proper beats around vocals, because I actually think more than half of the beats that they did, or that kid did, over those Biggie vocals are actually better than the originals. But anyway, I was sitting there talking about it. Actually, no. Fuck. God, it's been so long and I've smoked so much weed since then. Let me rewind this a second. He comes in one day and we're on the 6th floor studio. And he walks in and he says, "You've got to see this." And he holds up 2 discs. One was a DVD, one was a CD. That his homeboy, he's like, "Yo, my homeboy literally just finished this," and he played it. And it was this Frank Sinatra and Biggie album. Literal, like, masterpiece. Absolute total piece of artwork. And the other one was, it happened to be a sex tape of a very famous artist that he had come upon because one of his associates at the time had broke into said artist's house and stole a bunch of shit, and that just happened to be there. They didn't go there with the intention of finding that particular DVD. We'll just say that. So we watched the tape, which was later released to the public. We saw the real tape, though. It was much longer than the one that was released to the public. Anyway, that Biggie and Frank Sinatra album, when we were done listening to it, I was just like, yo, I have to meet this kid. So he actually brought him in the next week. And it was this little tiny white dude. I mean, little tiny white dude with, like, albino hair and, like, a hyper white skin, named Khalil. And I just looked at him. I was just like, I only have one question. How long did it take you to do this album? And his only answer was, you actually, like, he's like, I don't even know. I honestly don't even know. It took so long. It took years for him to do that. It's so good. If you haven't listened to it, it's called Blue Eyes Meets Bed-Stuy. You can find it on the internet. It's fucking incredible. Like, it's so he did such a good job of making sure that all the samples from Frank Sinatra match exactly what Biggie was talking about in his rhymes. It was like they were literally made for you. It's so good. Oh, it's so good. That's one of my, if I get stranded on an island and it can only take 10 albums, we used to play that game when CDs were a thing. Now you would just take like your phone. But you could only take 10 albums with you. What would they be? That was one of mine. Still is. That would be the Biggie album that I would take with me. I used to think that I would take the double album, but that one's so much better. And Billy Lyons, no, I have never listened to Life After Death Star, and now I have to. Another good one is The Black Chronic. These kids from Florida named the Bash Brothers. Yeah, the Bash Brothers, I think. Yeah, Platinum Trophy. Put them on a bus and then bus things to that bus. So bring up an aux track, stereo aux track, and put your delay or your reverb on that. And then instead of having a reverb on each of your tracks, which just eats up your processing and DSP space, you'll just have a send out to each of those. And then you can control it individually with the send instead of having to control your dynamic in each of the plugins themselves. The other one, with delays, if you're doing delays on vocals, it does. I never know what the tempo of a song is because I don't fucking care. I don't need it. But when I do delays on vocals, there are certain numbers that you can put in that it's going to be one of those numbers. It's going to be the exact delay you're looking for the vocals. So 628, 714, 820, 916, 593.45 is the main one that I always use. It's hilarious because 471 maybe. I might be thinking of the 417 one. And 420 is definitely one which is hilarious. And then 380. And then below that, you're kind of getting so close to it that it's not really noticeable. You're more just like using a delay to beef up the vocals, which is another tip. If your vocals are kind of thin, you could set up a delay on another aux bus and then send the vocals out to that and then have the delay really tight behind the vocals, like between 20 and 60, like so close, and that'll kind of like beefing things up. That's what I used to do before I really learned how to actually use compressors, instead of just like, oh yeah, that sounds good, but like actually know what you're doing so that you're doing things with intention. So that's a big thing for me, is mixing with intention. You know, you can go and turn knobs, and eventually you may find it. If your ears are good, eventually you'll find what you're looking for. But you're also just like eating up time, just searching. If you know exactly what it is you want to do and can just go execute it, then life becomes easy. So it's like Michael Brower. I used to work with him, not like with him, but I was always around him when he was working on the Coldplay album XY especially. And it used to blow my fucking mind that he's making $5,000 to $10,000 to mix each record, and it might take him a couple hours. That was it. I was just like, how? In order at that time, especially when I was first starting out, it might take me like fucking 2 weeks to mix a song, a month. until I'm finally like happy with it. And he just knew what he wanted to do and how to execute it immediately. There was no guessing. It was bang, 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 bang. So, you know, you're not paying him for the amount of time he works on it. You're paying him for all that time that in years of work that he put in that allows him to just do it in a couple hours. Yeah, no, it's blow your fucking mind. Like some of the Grammy-winning records and whatnot being mixed in a couple hours. But you also have to understand, when he walks into the room, he's going to sit down at the console and hit play. Everything better be set up and ready to rock. Like, he already knows exactly, like, because he was using a console at that time, so you're only going to get, at that time it had 8 stereo aux ends, so he knew exactly what pieces of gear he wanted on each aux end, and then he knew, like, and his 2 assistant engineers also knew. So things was, he had, like, you know, he called it the wall sound, and it was like a literal wall of compressors and EQs and reverb units, like 80 of them behind him, and everything was always wired and daisy chained and plugged in exactly the same. So when he walked in, it was hit play and go. You're talking about days and hours and days of work from the 2 assistant engineers to set everything up on each record before he comes in. Now, the crazy part was when I was assisting Keith, Michael's assistant engineer. When Keith was doing his own stuff, I would assist him. When you would need to do a recall, and at that time, like, Pro Tools was a thing, but wasn't really like the main thing. So say a band, they want to change something was a little bit off, they want to fix one thing in a mix. Man, this is the worst shit ever. You have to go in and reset the room up like it was when Michael mixed that record. And I'm talking everything, every knob, every button, everything exactly like it was, which is impossible. It's literally impossible. There are millions of variables, because one might affect another one that you might not even hear the first one, because it takes a series of 2 or 3 variable differences before you can actually hear it. So you might not know which one it is. So there's literal millions on the console and in all of the gear. John Frank, what up? And you're supposed to get that song to be, it's impossible. It's literally impossible. So before they had automated consoles, you actually used to take a picture, a Polaroid of each of the channels, and then you would just look at it and like try to get it as close as you could, which was literally impossible. But Michael wanted the recalls to be exact, which was literally impossible. So even the console had recall at that time, so it would show you each channel on the screen one at a time, and it would tell you which knobs, where you needed to turn them. You could save all that data, but still it's a physical knob. So you might be, it might say you got it on the screen and allow you to move forward to the next one, but you might be, what if you're like a millionth of a centimeter off? That's going to fucking change something. And you do that enough times, it's really going to change something. So, dude, recalls were impossible. They were impossible. I hated it more than anything. I was just like, this is the dumbest shit ever. This is why whenever they would do big mixes, they would literally be like, yo, don't fucking touch the console. They put tape over it that says mix in progress, do not touch. And they would wait until the artist was ready to come back. Now, the problem at this time was that Coldplay would take the mixes. They waited till he was done with the album, right? And then they listened to it for 6 months. And then after 6 months, they came back and said, all right, these are the things we want to change. So it's just like, you can't shut down the studio and Michael Brower can't not work in 6 months. So you're going to have to do recalls, and they fucking sucked. Which is why I love Pro Tools. To just save it, open it. When you open it, it's exactly the same it was. There's no guessing. I prefer the flow of work and the saving of time doing stuff that doesn't need to be done. That's stupid. Recalls were dumb. So dumb. Ugh. As you can tell, I was not a big fan of doing recalls at all. It was just like, this is going to take all night, and we're not even going to be close. And then whenever he comes in and hits play, everybody's going to get yelled at because it's a bad recall. And it's just like, yo, Mike, like, come on, man. This shit is impossible. Which is why I couldn't be around when it was time to listen to the recall, because I would say shit like, yo, Mike, come on. I mean, that's the reason he liked me, is because I wasn't intimidated by the fact that he was Michael Brower, because when I met him, I had no idea who the fuck Michael Brower was. I was like, all right. He's like, I'm Michael Brower. I was like, all right, cool. I'm Joe. You need anything, let me know, dude. I just kind of went about doing my thing as an intern, and everyone was just like, did he actually just talk to Michael? Holy shit. I'm just like, yeah, who's Michael Brower? I actually remember asking them when they were like, yeah, Michael Brower works here. I'm just like, yeah, who the fuck is Michael Brower? Everyone looked at me like I was fucking retarded. Like, you want to be an engineer, you know who Michael Brower is? No, I don't know who the fuck Michael Brower is. A year ago today, I was playing football. Like, come on. I know nothing about engineering, mixing. I don't know none of this. None of these people, none of this shit. I didn't even know what Pro Tools was. High on drugs, Larry Bird. Alright, so, yeah, I'm going to play another beat right now because that's enough of listening to me. That's for sure. What do I want to play? This is all, yeah, I can play these two. Billy Lines. Waiting on you, man.
When lights go low, there's
Here's the funny shit. I literally would say, yo, fuck all that old shit, because I don't want to play something that I've played before and that I actually worked on, because I don't want to hear it. Of course, Platinum Trophy. It's just hilarious that the beat you sent me says my new shit. So yeah, fuck all that old shit. Let's listen to my new shit. you know, sometimes I want to just say, like, yo, that was trash just to fuck with you, but I can't because that'd be disrespectful. Yeah, dude, fire. Send that to me. Like, you don't need to do anything else. Just send it to me. That shit is, yeah. Yeah, I know you did. My inbox is flooded with your new shit. Yeah, just send me, don't send it to me. Just send them to me. You don't have to do it tonight. I know it's late and whatnot, and we're old and we gotta work and shit, and we all wake up in the morning early now. But yeah, whenever you get time, send me those stems and let me get to work, cause that one sounds fun. That one sounds super fun. I'm anticipating. See, this is what I was waiting on. This is why Beat Boutique is like it's like a streaming show for myself, because this is when Billy Lines sends me things that I haven't heard yet. This is Beat Boutique is when he sends me things when he DMs me and says, yo, I think I found something. That I know that I have to wait until Thursday to hear it. But this is why I wait. Well worth the wait, homie. Fucking fire. So much so that I'm gonna listen to it again, which I never do. Stupid fire. Stupid fire. That one will be fun. That one's going to be super fun. I am anticipating that one. You know, like I know you just bounced it. Like, come on, man. You knew that was fire. Like, you knew it. You knew it. You knew it already. So, yeah, I'm definitely not going to play anything after that. Shit. As soon as I get the artwork for Between the Lines, it will be available for streaming and direct download, which also means that it's time for our first beat contest of 2022. So as soon as the album drops, the drum pack from the album, which is literally all of the drums, the drum pack is massive. Literally every single one of the drums and whatnot from the entire beat, 17 beats. So much stuff. And then you'll have a month. I guess that's usually how we do it, so but yeah, and it's fun to do beat contests where all it is a drum pack, because then you're not stuck listening to the same samples getting flipped 50 times, which isn't bad, but I feel like a contest where just drums are what you are required to use leaves everything else up to you, because do it exact whatever you just did, send it to me, I'll take it from there. You did good, kid, but I don't want you to throw your arm out. It's time to bring in the closer. Nah, come on, coach, I can finish. Nah, man, you did good. You did good, kid. There's more games to play. I've never played baseball, but I imagine that's what the conversation is like on the mound, trying to get a starter to go sit the fuck down so you can bring in the closer. Anyway, perfect timing. That blunt is done, and so am I. So, payback. Good to hear some beats from you, homie. Good to see you back. Platinum. Good to have you, homie. Billy Lines. Yeah, fire as always. You know what to do next, which is send it to me. Larry Bird, Joe Black, John Frank, James, Crew, Kal-El, Modern. I know you're not here anymore. Utilize, DK. I think that's everybody that stopped by the chat. If I missed anybody, I'm high, man. Don't blame me. Sam. Yeah, I did miss somebody. Rico. Lucky. I think Lucky just wanted me to answer questions about the Book of Heroin. Sane. 4-piece. Thanks for coming through, everybody. Keep working. Yeah, we're just getting back into Beat Boutique. We're getting back into the swing of things. Hopefully we'll have the artwork back, and we can have a beat contest in August. If not, it'll be September. There's no rush. But we're already planning ahead for a end of the year beat battle, so get your shit together, because last year Andrew won a custom 333 MPC, and this year somebody's going to win some shit. I might be able to have a couple different contests this year of magnitude, because I've got some stuff to give away. We shall see. I will keep you posted. Keep fighting the good fight. RIPP 333. I will see you Saturday night for RIP TV. Hey, made it through the whole game and only 2 fouls last time. We'll see what we can do next time.